Chicago, and we have no realistic way of putting more police on the streets. They're retiring every day, and we're going to continue to lose police officers in the 46th Ward. People who live west of Broadway, between Wilson and Montrose, know who the drug dealers are in their community. What we need are more resources so we can investigate what's going on and make the arrests that we need to make. I am the only candidate that has consistently said that I support budget reform for this city. That's a forensic audit, zero-based budgeting, and pension reform for current as well as future employees of the city. I'm standing up to the special interests so that people in the 46th Ward will get the resources they need in the future so this community can continue to be a wonderful community and can get even better, and we can reduce crime in the future. Thank you. Oh, in addition, I support participatory budgeting, which brings people together, and I hope that many of the residents, one of the things that they will propose is that we put more police officers in hot spots in the community, and that's something we could do immediately with some menu money, $1.3 million in menu money from the city. Thank you.
You know, like Molly said, I was walking around up and down Magnolia this morning and came across a lady with her child, her 4-year-old child and dog on the street, and we started to talk. And she moved to Magnolia about 4 years ago, loves the neighborhood, loves Uptown, loves the diversity of the ward. She moved here from Lakeview neighborhood, but said, you know, in the past 6 or 8 months, she's concerned about walking her child down the street and having her kids play in the street. That has to stop. It is critical. Job one for the city, job one for an alderman, is to make sure we all feel safe. And it is so important to the ward that we attract new families like this lady I met to the ward. So we have to deal with the crime problem. All of us in this room, or at least a lot of us in this room, know which corners the drug deals are happening. We know where the gangs are congregating. We need to make sure that we have more police officers, that we have police officers in the police department focused on that. When someone's arrested, we need to make sure that the full extent of law is brought upon them, that they are convicted, that they are sent away. We need more after-school programs. We need to make sure that there are opportunities for kids, particularly high school age kids, to do things in school later and to do things that take them off the street. So those are things that I will work for as your alderman. Thank you.
Excuse me, a basic suggestion.
Well, could comments from the audience be held till after the debate's over, please? Thank you.
Because a lot of us came in late and don't know who they are.
Great, so say your name before you start.
James Kappelman, jamesforchange.com. Thank you. I've worked with Greg Harrison on a number of different task forces to address public safety. So I've had that experience. I've been doing this for over a decade, and I'm proud to say that that area known as Blood Alley, this is where 1/3 of all the crime in Sheridan Park area, this area, was committed on just a small piece of property. And it's my work with State Representative Greg Harris, the police commander, Sandy Ramsey from Cornerstone, the businesses from Truman College, the block club president, Paul, the CAPS B facilitator, that we had a huge impact. I'm going to keep doing that. And I recently spoke with Commander Bomer, and she told me around 20 individuals are committing the vast majority of crimes in the 46th Ward, and actually the 23rd Police District. There's a woman who has been arrested 300 times for various crimes, and on her 302nd arrest, she was finally offered inpatient drug treatment for the first time. This past week, she completed that program. Everyone in the courtroom applauded her. That's something that we need to start doing. As Alderman, I certainly want to work more with the Cook County's program They have a drug court and a mental health court to work with these people, not just the first-time offenders, but those people with hundreds of arrests. And I'll say one other thing. I spoke with a police officer 2 days ago. He talked to me about a 10-year-old boy who used a BB gun, painted it black to make it look like a more powerful gun, and held up somebody and robbed him. He was arrested. Went with his mom down court, and went to court, came back, was back home 2 hours, and was arrested again, a 10-year-old boy, for stealing iPhones. We need some programs that's really going to help these kids. And I'm a big use of evidence-based best practices to make that happen. Thanks.
Michael Carroll. I am currently a police officer in the city of Chicago. The number one issue, obviously, everyone keeps saying, is crime. As the sign says behind me, gang crime is a serious issue. It's the most important issue in this. I won't let the police leave our neighborhood. The idea of having police leave the community is a terrible idea, and I won't stand for it. Keeping cops in Uptown is the number one issue. I am not all talk. Background, I have been a police officer for 7.5 years. I have over 1,000 arrests in my career. I've taken countless guns off the streets. I've done search warrants. I know how to get crime off our streets. I've been doing that for the last 7.5 years. I work in a specialized anti-gang, anti-gun unit called the Targeted Response Unit. And that's what we do. I haven't written a parking ticket in 3.5 years. For me, it's about getting cops in these high crime areas and getting the gangbangers off the street. I've been shot at, I've been kicked, punched, I've been hurt on this job more times than I could ever count. I'm going to bring more cops into the city of Chicago and more cops into our community. That's the number one thing. For us to make business better, schools better, we have to bring in more police and get the crime off of our streets in Uptown. I've been backed by the FOP and by the Sergeants Association. That's close to 20,000 police officers that are backing my campaign, and I have the ideas to fix it. I've been doing it for 7.5 years. I will bring that to Uptown. The gangbangers don't own the streets. We do. These are our streets. They don't belong here. I will work with every one of you to make sure this is a safe neighborhood, no matter who you are, no matter where you come from.
No disrespect to anyone here, but if, in fact, we know the 20 people that are responsible for all the crimes in Uptown, if we know how to arrest everybody and get them locked up, if we have the largest prison population of any country in the world, then I think that while I support, I think it takes both law enforcement and the community to solve this problem, I don't think there's any simple answers, or we would have already done it. So that I think I have a 4-point program, and this is what I've been doing for the last 40 years. And I don't say I have the solution either. But one, let's develop proactive, positive programs for young people in the area of recreation, culture, education, and job training. 2, let's restructure CAPS. CAPS stands for Community Alternative Policing Strategies, not the regular policing. What we really need is to build unity between the police officers and the community based on trust and respect. It needs to be a democratically structured program. I believe the CAPS facilitators should be elected. It needs to be a community-driven process. 3, let's develop a neighborhood Peace Corps. Let's get young people trained, educated, and put to work doing the kind of work that needs to be done in this community. There's tons of things that needs to be worked. There's all these seniors that need just to be helped with. There's young people that need tutoring. We could provide that. We need to change government priorities around. And 4th, let's provide, let's make Uplift, which is a quality public school. It's not Disney, it's not selective enrollment, it's not Northside Prep, but it's a good school. Let's make Uplift the community school so all the young people in grades 7 through 12 will go there. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, candidates. And we're going to switch topics now to CTA, and in particular, the Wilson L Stop. So here's the brief setup on this discussion. The Wilson L Stop sets the tone for a large number of people who visit the neighborhood, and it's the front door to the neighborhood for a large number of residents. Right now, the impression the Wilson L stop creates is pretty poor, especially compared with the innovative new stops like the ones at North Avenue or Paulina. There is also an opportunity to make the Wilson stop better serve the commercial needs of the neighborhood. Apparently, some movement on red and purple line renovation is in the works. So here are the questions. Do you support enhanced renovation with unallocated TIF money? Would you support moving the entrance to Montrose to support the Target development? And for this round, we will be starting with Scott Baskin. And again, very excellent suggestion. Please, candidates, remember to say your name.
Scott Baskin. The Wilson L station is so critical to the vitality, the economic health of the uptown neighborhood of Broadway. As I said, there are currently 44 empty, vacant stores on Broadway throughout the ward. Filling those stores is job one for the next alderman. And that's something I would focus on. I've spent my career in retail, and I understand what it takes to bring new retailers and what they're looking for to the ward. So we need to do that. And the Wilson L stop is a critical part of it because it's such an important hub for the transportation. So yes, I would support looking into using the unallocated TIF money to rehab the L station. There's so many great things we could do with the retail, the abandoned retail that is sitting there at the L stop. If you look at many of the other cities in the country, New York and San Francisco, that have worked hard to take the public transportation stations and create little marketplaces for the neighborhood. It's wonderful. We can do that here. Exploring moving the entrance closer to the Target thing. That's an excellent idea. We should look at it. Approaching Target and saying, hey, Target, how would you like to have a stop just like Apple did at Clybourne? We could have a Target station. It would be really cool. Thank you.
Hi, I'm James Kappelman. I want to remind Greg Harris that Larry McKeon promised us $28 million around 10 years ago for the Wilson L, and it's dried up. We want to see some of that money come back. The other thing I want to see, there's an Urban Land Institute did a study in 2000, and they said two critical things needed to happen in the 46th Ward to stimulate retail. One was the Uptown Theater, which is in the 48th Ward. But the other critical thing was the Wilson L. I think it's deplorable that this L stop is not ADA compliant, especially when we have so many people in our ward in wheelchairs who could certainly benefit from the use of an elevator. I also, besides using state funds, I would also like to explore the use of using our TIF funds. That's what qualified us for the Wilson Yard TIF. Let's use that money as should have been promised. The other thing I I was at a meeting 3 years ago when Ron Huberman promised us that he would restore the retail area on the 4600 block of Broadway, the west side. That all belongs to CTA. That property, the retail stores, many of them have been vacant for 10 years. That's rent that's just kind of going up in smoke. So if CTA is saying that they're having problems, then I'm going to hold them accountable. They need to start restoring that retail area so we can start collecting that funds to restore our Wilson L stop. It's critical. Thank you.